Thanks very much. We're well within time, so we have a little while for questions and answers. I have a little microphone I'll give you in a moment, but I'll just I'll maybe take the first question first, and then we'll get the microphone set on.
Thank you very much, both of you. Of course, I always love it when we have women speakers talking about gender issues, and these issues of women are not women's issues, they're ones for everyone and the whole of society. But I just wanted to ask you, Rehan, can you just clarify for me, we're all talking about it, are there any moves at all, and is your organisation doing anything to get Turkey to start working with NGOs to develop, as they are required by international law, a national action plan on 1325? As you said, this is such an important mechanism to actually look at the impact of the conflict on women and girls and hear their voices. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, as I thought, this is the one of our criticize against the same mentality, and this also belongs to the AKP government. For example, in these 63 persons, only 11 women are inside this commission. Before this BDP and the other women organizations, of course, several times called upon the women quota itself also for this commission. And secondly, regarding 1325, not only Human Rights Association, but the other women organizations and feminists, and also we have a women movement for peace. Also, Nazan and I, we are one of the founders of this movement. We do insist on this process, I mean the UN resolution, but not only this. We need also a very fair, truly commission for the past also, and for the ongoing peace process. But let us see, because the other mental life is very sexist, very male-based, patriarchal. Still, it is we can say a part of our ongoing struggle, not finished yet.
This is something that has been. This is something that this is a key cornerstone of the religious. Religious organization, the Fethullah, the Gülen movement. This is one of the cornerstones of Gülen movement, supporting children who are good in school, providing them with dormitories, with facilities to pursue their education further. Assistance in education, etc. This has been going on for a very long time, and then once students enter high school, they will stay in, again, Gülen movements, dormitories, and they will be funded and supported by them. But it's not, in recent years, it is now far beyond this. Gülen movement.
I mean, you see this because you talked earlier about depoliticizing.
Yeah, there are various religious sects operating in all over Kurdistan, and that's one part of it. But also in formal education, last year, I think 4+4+4. You have heard about it probably. This is a new system that has been passed, and this new system allows kids to pursue their education in religious schools. It also almost obliges. Legally, it seems as if it doesn't, but in practice, it does. It forces all children, including Alawite children, to take religious classes on Prophet's life, etc., because supposedly they are obliged to take different electives, but only these electives will be open, so they are obliged to take them. So this is all part of this whole depoliticization and religious formation of children's culture. And it has been explicitly stated actually by the Prime Minister. He said he wants to produce young, religious, fit youth.
Sorry, just to clarify, I don't get it. Is your criticism just based on the religious aspect of the government, or like it comes across as if you're just criticizing the way the government is religious compared to maybe the previous governments, or is your criticism based on something else rather than just religion? Thanks.
My criticism is not based on the fact that it is religious at all. My criticism is based on the fact that there is a new regime introduced for the last decade that targets specifically children, that has produced them as a specific social category whose lives should be regulated, disciplined, punished by the state. And this is a new thing. Actually, along with other kinds of categories, childhood has been reinvented, let's say. And children has emerged as a new social category through which society can be penetrated and lives of families can be regulated and depoliticized, transformed into a legal issue, while although it's a political issue, again, protest being transformed into a vocabulary of disease, medicalization, all that kind of thing.
Sorry to ask again, but it's good to maybe put it up. Have you thought, I mean, I find it so terribly hard when I was at the UN, at the Commission on the Status of Women 3 weeks ago, where the priority theme was prevention and elimination of violence against women. And the Turkish Minister for Women made a very, very flowery speech about all the marvellous things that were happening for women and the numbers of women that were now at universities, and it never mentions, of course, the fact that a whole generation of Kurdish girls are very much discriminated against. And I just wanted to ask you, I'm not sure whether Turkey had actually ratified the optional protocol of the CEDAW, and also you in relation to the Convention on the Rights of the Child, or whether you thought or considered using the optional protocol on those sort of way under Article 8 that you can use the individual complaint, because that's a way to get the treaty committees to actually question governments and make them responsible and accountable for breaches of their obligations under these conventions.
Yeah, let's start from the beginning, because we don't have any minister who is responsible from women, because the AKP in 2011 they changed the name of the ministry itself also. They do not want to hear the name of women either. Before its name was the ministry who is responsible of women and social issues, but now Fatma Shahin is Minister of Family and Social Workers issues. So we have only family in Turkey. We don't have any women, okay? And second, CEDAW, yes, Turkey is part of several international mechanisms and conventions like European Convention of Human Rights, CEDAW, United Nations of the main Declaration of United Nations, etc. But the problem is the mentality, and second, the implementation issue after CEDAW, for example. Now, according to the data of human rights and women's organizations, after AKP, the violence against women increased to 1,400%. This is really a horrible figure. But up till today, up till now, any of the AKP ministers did not reply our this demand. They didn't say, okay, the women organizations are telling lies, because we have figures on our hand. And thirdly, I must remind that yes, Turkey is one of the parties of the European Convention of Human Rights, but also Turkey is the same country who has the most cases before the court itself. Okay, So the issue, what about the issue, your second question, Margaret, about the children's issue, for example. The Turkey has signed, but it has many obstacles against. In order to not say yes for the children, the education in mother tongue, and for the assimilation of the children. My son did not speak Turkish until he was 5, but as soon as he started to go to school, now he forgot the Kurdish language. So even 1 day is very important for Kurdish people, even 1 year. Then slowly the policies of the government can be accessed, unfortunately. So, I don't know.
I wanted to just take the focus back on men. I know it's to talk about women, but could you describe a little bit the attitudes of men generally in Turkey and in the Kurdish population as well towards women? Is there much education regarding chauvinism, trying to have a kind of conscience, if you like, a consciousness of the issues that women are suffering from?
Well, PKK has actually been very influential in that regard and in promoting egalitarian culture, in promoting women's rights, women's political agency, and in actually promoting women's organizations. So I think especially among people who are sympathetic to PKK, who are influenced by PKK political movement, things have progressed, I would say, but I don't know what is Reyhan would want. And more women NGOs and women are being founded. I mean, women have founded a number of women's organizations within the political party and outside of the political party. There are independent women councils and women parliaments. So I think among the Kurdish population, especially among the politicized Kurdish population, there's a growing consciousness on women's egalitarianism, women's equality. And actually it is KGB, PKK's women's sections have also a couple of weeks ago expressed their concern that 1325 is not being implemented, and they have promoted the implementation of that regulation, and they have expressed their alliance with the women in Turkey and in Kurdistan in promoting it to be implemented. So,
could I just clarify something with you, Nizan? I'm not sure I quite understand. Thank you. I'm not sure I quite understand your point about children being kept under the control of the state. When you were going through the list of incentives which the state was offering to families if they sent their children to school, were you criticising that because the kind of schooling they would be getting would be very state-orientated, very anti-Kurdish? Or why were you against those incentives to families to send their kids to school?
Well, because those kinds of policies define the problem in a specific way. Those kinds of policies define the problem of children in Kurdistan as a problem of education, as a problem of trauma, as a problem of stress, as a problem. But the problem is marginalization, discrimination, forced assimilation, forced education in Turkish, political inequality, so on and so forth. So every social policy, the area of social policy, as you well know, develops specific definitions of problems, which then exclude certain ways of seeing and defining the problem. That's why I'm criticizing it.
Amnesty brought out a report very recently about freedom of expression in Turkey. I think it came out 2 or 3 weeks ago. And one of the examples or cases in freedom of expression was it talked about the peace mothers, those women, group of mothers who had lost sons or daughters been imprisoned or whatever. And it kind of deals with the problems they face in trying to get answers to the questions and to demonstrate against the lack of information. So I'd really like you to say a little bit about that, and also say a little bit generally about the peace mothers, the strength of it. I know this is a concept that has crossed the world, but I don't know much about it in Turkey, and I'd just like some information on that.
I am one of the lawyers of peace mothers, as they have huge cases against them every day. For example, a new case launched against them just because of their speeches on the demonstration of 8 March in 2012. So yes, there are some amendments or democratization process in brackets, but still, when we are mentioning about the judicial system, it really resists against the basic freedoms, and also one of these areas we carry for the cases against peace mothers, because they only can define themselves by speaking when they are seeking about justice, when they are seeking about the peaceful solution, because they suffered too much, they lost their everything, their daughters and their sons. But it is also a simple example of how the government, the AKP, approaches the opposite speakers. Although they are old ladies and they suffered too much and they confronted a lot of problems all over their lives, but now also when they are demanding the peace, they are against being heard by Turkish courts. There's still a problem.
Okay, well, shall we thank our speakers? Thank you very much.